In this, the third in a series on hindrances to growth and effective mission, I want to think about fear. Do you know, one of the things that I find really interesting when you read the Gospels is how often Jesus talks about fear. It seems that regularly he's having to say to his disciples, do not be afraid. And I guess the reason is because fear is one of the biggest foes that we find where faith is concerned. It grips our hearts and paralyzes us, preventing us from moving forward with God, preventing us from being effective in our mission. And I see it in the church today. I see so many people who hear scripture say, go and make disciples, and yet they don't do it because they're frightened. They're frightened of causing offense on the one hand, they're frightened of being rejected and misunderstood on the other. And that seems to me to be a shame, really, because it's allowing the world and its values to colour the church and its convictions. And that really isn't particularly helpful in terms of our forward movement, our growth, and our effectiveness in mission. It's interesting, isn't it, that we're told that God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. And if that's the case, then you have to ask the question, then where the heck is the fear coming from? If it's not coming from God, if it isn't for our good, then it must be coming from a different source and be for our ineffectiveness, for our bad. And that really challenges me. It challenges me to ask myself, what am I doing to overcome the fears that I feel in order that I might move forward and be effective in mission and see the church grow? There's another verse, isn't there, that says perfect love casts out fear. And maybe we need to recognize the fact that there's a spiritual dynamic to fear that actually grips our hearts and prevents us from realizing, experiencing, entering into the fullness of all that God has for us. But we also need to recognize that the antidote to fear is not courage on the one hand, it's actually love. It's recognizing how much we're loved by God. It's recognizing and experiencing the full extent of that love that's lavished upon us and wanting to share that love with others, because we know that God is a God who loves and loves everybody and wants them to know that love for themselves. So that's my thought for the week. What are you doing to counteract fear in your church? What are you doing to increase the sense of love in your church, that people might find themselves having the courage that the Holy Spirit brings to be effective in mission? Hope you found this helpful. If you have, then perhaps you'd like to press that like button, and it's a real encouragement to us. Perhaps you'd like to share this particular video with others because you think they might find it helpful. And thirdly, maybe you'd like to follow us. We produce videos like this all the time. Thanks for watching.